Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress and the Independent National Electoral Commission declared president-elect of Nigeria, has said that he does not need 25% in Abuja to win the election. But what did the law say? And what does the president, looking at former presidential candidate that have been declared president-elect in the past, what does the law say? What is the precedent? What is the rules? That is what we're going to deal with in this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. The INEC declared president-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu has explained that there is no exclusive obligation that a candidate must score 25% of the votes in the Federal Capital Territory Abuja to be returned as president in an election. Tinubu's position is contained in a preliminary objection he filed against the petition by the Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peterobi at the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal in Abuja, seeking the dismissal of the petition for failing to disclose any cause of action. Also, most of the 5 political parties, including the Labour Party, that are challenging the outcome of the February 25 presidential election have contended that the All Progressive Congress and Tinubu did not secure the 25% of the total votes cast in the Federal Capital Territory Abuja as mandatorily required in section 1342 subsection B of the Constitution of Nigeria, and was therefore ineligible to be declared as president-elect or winner of the election. Now, we have seen the position of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, what he has filed in his defense. He said he don't need to get 25% in Abuja in order to be declared president-elect. So he was saying that INEC was right in declaring him president-elect because it is not mandatory that he must get 25% of the vote cast in Abuja, which is the bone of contention. Now, let us see what the law says or what the precedent is with respect to getting 25% in Abuja. Well, I hate to burst the bubble of Tinubu because there is already an established precedent on the status of Abuja in respect to declaration of anyone to become president of Nigeria. And here we have to look at the submission by Chief Michael Andoaka, a former Attorney General and Minister of Justice of Nigeria, who has waded into this matter because this is a controversy, it's an ongoing controversy surrounding the declaration by the INEC of the candidate of APC, as president-elect, despite not getting 25% of the votes cast in Abuja. Anduaka, the former Attorney General of the Federation, maintained that before a candidate can be declared winner in a presidential election in Nigeria, that candidate must score 25% of the votes cast in the election in 2/3 of the 36 states and 25% in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Perhaps we need to listen to it again. The former Attorney General of the Federation maintained that before a candidate can be declared winner in a presidential election, that candidate must score 25% of the vote cast in the election in 2/3 of the 36 states and 25% in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. So what he's saying there is that you must get 2/3 of the 25% of the votes cast in 36 states of the Federation and Abuja. So when you get 2/3 of the 36 states, after getting 25% in 2/3 of the states of the 36 states of the Federation, you must add Abuja to join it, making it 25. Now, this position is coming as a constitutional lawyer, Professor Mike Ezokem, faulted INEC for going ahead to declare Tinubu as the president-elect, having not scored the required 25% in the FCT, Abuja. So, Professor Mike Ezokeme's son is also towing the same line that INEC ought not to have declared Bola Tinubu winner of the election because of the fact that he couldn't get 25% of the vote cast in Abuja. Now let us look at Anduaka's position in detail. Anduaka, who stated his position while appearing as a guest of Arise TV monitored in Abuja, maintained that this requirement had been the law. Take note of what he said. He said that this requirement of getting 2/3, getting 25% in 2/3 of the 36 states and Abuja had been the requirement, it had been the law. It had been the law. That is what he said. He said that this requirement had been the law. Let us not lose sight of that assertion, that it had been the law and has not changed since the pronouncement of the Supreme Court in 2008. It had been the law and has not changed since the pronouncement of the Supreme Court in 2008. So this is the subsisting law. It means that as at the time of the election on February 25, 2023, this is the law. This is the law. This is the law as at the time of going for the election. So this is the law that ought to be obeyed in respect of the election of February 25, because this is the law as interpreted by the Supreme Court. And besides, this is the constitutional requirement. Because if there is a conflict between the Constitution and an act of the Parliament, the Constitution takes precedent over that. This is the Constitution. And this constitutional provision has been backed by law, by the ruling of the Supreme Court, that is the situation. So the law has not changed since 2008 when the Supreme Court pronounces so. Because up to that time, before that time, nobody had had any reason to go and inquire about the status of 25% in Abuja. Don't forget, this constitution we are using is the 1999 constitution. And the first person to be elected president under this law was Chief Olusegun Obasanjo in 1999. And he was re-elected in 2003. He got 25%, more than 25% in Abuja, all those while. So there was no basically any reason to interpret it, for anybody to question this section. But in 2007, after the election of 2007, that Yaradua, Umaru Musa Yaradua, was declared president-elect. The current president, President Muhammad Buhari, went to court, and it was in the process of that court challenging the election of Yaradua that the Supreme Court gave a pronouncement, a ruling on the status of getting 25% in Abuja. Okay, so let us continue to interrogate what's going on here. While noting that the matter is already in court, and as such, he will not dwell deeply in it, the former Attorney General of the Federation recalled that the Supreme Court had in 2008, in a suit involving the current president, Muhammad Buhari, and the then president, Alhaji Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, resolved the issue of the 25% in two-thirds of the states of the Federation and the FCT. So what Tinubu is arguing against now is an issue that has been settled. It's a settled matter. If INEC had not deliberately ignored it, it wouldn't have been an issue at all. Don't forget, a former resident electoral commissioner in INEC, Chief Mike Ngini, a senior lawyer who had been with INEC for over 10 years, for about 10 years before he retired, had sounded a note of warning that whoever will be declared president-elect or winner of the February 25 presidential election in Nigeria must get 25% in Abuja. He was emphatic about it. He said this thing on the eve of the election, as if to remind us that there is something ominous about to happen. And like he feared, Asiwaju was declared president-elect without getting that 25% that Ngini warned about, which is now subject of litigation at the Court of Appeal, which is the court handling the presidential election petition matters. Okay, now let us continue with what Andoaka is saying. Andoaka said that it is a very difficult situation, but the matter has been interpreted before, around 2008, in a matter involving the current president. The pronouncement then was that the "and" is used conjunctively. Get that again. The pronouncement then was that the "and," when you hear 36 states of the Federation and Abuja, he said that it was used conjunctively. That was the interpretation of the Supreme Court then. He now said maybe the Supreme Court may have another look, since it was a long time ago. I do not agree with him that it was a long 2008 is not a long time ago. It's not a long time ago in the judicial matter of this magnitude. It's not a long time ago. 2008 is not a long time ago. It's not a long time ago. So there is no basis for the Supreme Court to change its mind, because it was a long time ago. We're not talking about a judgment given by the Supreme Court in 1950s, or given by the Supreme Court in 1960s, or given by the Supreme Court in 1940s. We're talking about the Supreme Court ruling in 2008. Andwaka the Supreme Court cannot change their mind from what it had already ruled in 2008 as the position of the law. So Andwaka himself is wrong to even suggest that the Supreme Court can change their mind. What kind of Supreme Court will change its mind in a subject of this magnitude? Because Asiwaju Bola Tinubu could not get 25%, therefore Supreme Court will change its mind. Is that what Andwaka is positioning here? He has already told us the position of the law. Now he wants to muddy the water by saying the Supreme Court can change its mind. No, they cannot change their mind. There's no basis for it to change its mind now on matters that it has already concluded in 2008. So Andwaka was saying that since it was a long time ago, but as of now, that is the interpretation. Good. He said, as of now, that is the interpretation. So why I want people to take note of this as of now is because as at the time the election was held, this is the position. Anything that goes contrary to this means that this is an extrajudicial position now being brought in, obviously, to clear the hurdles for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So there is no basis for them to change their mind, as Andwaka is suggesting. And it would be unfair to do that now, because at the time the election took place on February 25, this is the law, this is the position of the law, that you must get 25% in 2/3 of the states of the Federation and Abuja FCT. Now let us continue. Now Andwaka's interpretation was that the states, Andwaka said that the Supreme Court's interpretation was that the states and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja shall be construed conjunctively. In other words, you must get 25% in 2/3 of the states of the Federation and 25% in the FCT, if you go by that interpretation of the Supreme Court in 2008. That is the way to go. That is the way to go. That is the law. That is the law. That is the way to go. As at the time the election took place, this is the law. Then he continued. He said, but I know the Supreme Court has a right to depart from its previous decisions if the justices of the case demand so. I don't know if confronted with a similar situation, they will follow their own decision or depart from it. My position in this is that they should not depart from it, and they should not be allowed to depart from it. Because, why did I say this? Because they have already set the precedent. They have already set the rule. If there had never been an interpretation of this matter before, and Nigeria is confronting it for the first time in 2023, you can say, okay, let us see how the Supreme Court will look at it. But we're talking about in 2023. 2023. Just about 15 years after the interpretation of the position of Abuja in 2008. In fact, a child born in 2008 is about 15 years old now. It is not a long time ago that Supreme Court will see any reason to change its position on the status of Abuja. And what is the question of contention is the issue of and. What is and? FC, that's the state of the Federation, and even in elementary English, all of us know what and means. We all know it. It is conjunctive. You don't need You don't need to be a professor of English to understand what this is all about. And the Supreme Court has rightly made a judgment over it. So it will be unfair for anyone to suggest that the Supreme Court should go back and review that position. That is the position of the law. You don't change the goalpost in the middle of the match. Because as at the time this election took place, the goalpost was situated that you must get 25% in Abuja to be declared president. That is what the law said. That is what the Supreme Court interpreted the Constitution to mean. So you cannot come now in the middle of the match, because this is still an ongoing match. The election process of 2023 is not yet over until the Supreme Court rules. Now you come to the middle of the match to come and change the goalpost and say, no, we can no longer stand on our 2008 interpretation and go and interpret another thing. That will be unfair. That will show that a lot of water has passed under the bridge. It will be abnormal to tell us that and it doesn't mean what we all know and to mean another thing altogether. Okay? So that is the situation. So Tinubu and his men who are saying that he doesn't need to get the FCT, 25% in the FCT to be declared. Sorry, you need to get it. That is what the law said. As at the time you participated in that election, that is the law. Anything contrary to this is shifting the goalpost at the middle of the match. Now, meanwhile, a constitutional lawyer, of course, Michael Zekome, he has noted that in seeking 25% in two-thirds of the states of the Federation and the FCT, the Constitution clearly distinguishes the FCT as a separate entity or a separate territory, wherein the presidential candidate needs to obtain at least 25% of the votes cast in the election. Professor Michael Zekome is a constitutional lawyer par excellence. He should be able to know what he's talking about. That the Constitution is clear on this. That this issue is not subject to debate. It's a separate matter. And there are also some petty understanding you can also get out of this. For you to become the president of Nigeria, why it is necessary you get the 25% of the votes in Abuja is because the president of Nigeria by the 1999 Constitution is the governor of Abuja. That is why there is no gubernatorial election in Abuja, because the president also acts as the governor of Abuja. He appoints the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to superintend over the territory on his behalf. That is why the budget of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, is presented to the National Assembly by the President Muhammad Buhari through the Minister of the FCT, because he is the governor of Abuja. So how could you be the governor of a territory that the people themselves don't have confidence in your capacity to be there, to superintend over them? And that was why the crafters of the 1999 Constitution was careful in ensuring that whoever will become the president must get 25% in Abuja, so that it will be able to have the authority to actually superintend over this territory, which is a special territory that he is governor over. He appoints the minister. That's why the budgets of Abuja, as I said, comes from President Muhammad Buhari or whoever is the president at the time. That is why there is no House of Assembly in Abuja. The National Assembly makes law for Abuja. National Assembly passed the appropriation bill. The budget of Abuja is passed by the National Assembly. So these are special qualities that Abuja has that distinguish it from the states of the federation, from other states of the federation. It is a unique territory. Therefore, even if you get to two-thirds of the states in Nigeria, you must get 25% in Abuja, because this is a special territory made unique by the Constitution because of its unique position. Yes. Some people have asked what is so special about Abuja. Abuja is special because it was created specially. It was created when you talk about the Abuja Master Plan, Abuja Master Plan is the only planned city. Abuja is the only planned city in Nigeria from the incipient origin of it. Most other cities in Nigeria grew organically, but Abuja was planned because Abuja was a special territory that was marked out for special development as a center of unity of Nigeria. And so whoever is to preside over it ought to get 25% in Abuja, because he will be the one making laws for Abuja, not the governors. National Assembly is making law for Abuja. National Assembly passing the budget of Abuja. Abuja indigenes do not vote in governorship election. Abuja is a special territory. That's why it has only one senator, when other states of the federation have 3 senators each. So for anybody to say why is Abuja special, I'm giving you examples why Abuja is special and why it is important that even after you got the 2/3 of the 36 states of the federation, you must get 25% in Abuja. That is the law. That is what the crafter of the Constitution wanted to be, and the Supreme Court has made it clear in 2008. What else are we talking about? I've already given you instances to show you that Abuja is unique. So those who are saying that Abuja people, they are special breed of people, or they are super states or whatever, no. They are not any super state, but they are distinct. They are unique. They are not the same thing with the states. That is why you must also carry them along. You must carry them along. So Abuja cannot be treated as a state, even though the Constitution says treat it as a state. Doesn't mean that it's a state. It is not part of the 36 states. It's just like I used to give an example to people. If a man came into his house clutching a new child and said, look, I have adopted this child and I brought him home, and he gathered all his children and his wife or wives and said, you see this child, I brought him home, his name is so and so. I want you to treat him as if he is one of my children, one of my blood children. But that doesn't mean that child is his blood child. But he only said that this child should be treated as if he is one of my children. So whatever you give my children from my own blood, you must give to him. Whatever I have in this family, he needs to have a portion of it. But that does not mean that he is your blood. Because when they go for DNA test, it will be discovered. It will become obvious that he's only an adopted child. So Abuja should be treated as if it is one of the states doesn't mean that Abuja is one of the states. Because if it were, I can tell you for free, Abuja would have participated in the governorship and state house of assembly elections. But Abuja didn't. So that is the situation right now. And we hope that justice will be served at the end of the day. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. God bless you and yours.